Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, OUR breaks silence amid calls for it to take action against the JPS. Director General of the Office of the Utilities Regulations, Ansort Hewitt, has sought to clarify the authority's role in regulating utility companies amid a public furor about delayed service restoration in sections of the island post-Hurricane Beryl. Mr. Hewitt explained that the OUR has the power to direct, investigate, conduct inquiries, request maintenance plans, and approve and monitor quality standards for the Jamaica Public Service Company via its licensing, the OUR Act, and the Electricity Act. He said some of the actions taken by the Light and Power Company are a direct result of engagements between both entities.
We will also be issuing JPS with specific directives with respect to the remaining timelines with which we expect strict compliance. We're monitoring the restoration of all utilities and doing ad hoc verification and surveillance. Ultimately, as well, there is an audit function for conformity. We have been careful to manage the regulatory reporting burden we impose on the utilities so as not to impact restoration efforts, which takes priority. I also should note that our examination of reports submitted by JPS and the application of Q-factor penalties indicated network issues that required resolution. JPS gave clear commitment to resolving them. There are also other powers of sanctions that require proceedings through the court and judicial process. But this is clearly not the kind of provision that are available to you in emergencies, because they tend to be time-consuming. There is also legislative provision for the imposition of a fixed penalty without going to court, and this is actually in train, and I have the assurance from the Minister that these are going to be approved in short order.
Phillips blasts the government for inadequate Hurricane Beryl response. Member of Parliament for North East Manchester, Michael Phillips, says a People's National Party administration will rescue those affected by Hurricane Beryl amid what he describes as an inadequate humanitarian response plan by the government. Mr. Phillips blasted the government for what he called a disorganized relief plan, which has left several citizens to the mercy of the elements. The opposition MP contended that, with the plight affecting citizens, a government that understands and can address the needs of the people is critical at this time.
What this government is doing now is showing that they're a chaka-chaka government. Because as a minister, I run up and down, I take government things from out of the back of their vehicle. When other MPs can't get other resources, Prime Minister flying up and down all over the place. And in 4 weeks, they're going to give out 11,000 food package. So they only survey 4,500 households. When more than 4,000 people in Northwest Manchester, my own constituency, get affected. But that's what them do island-wide. 4 weeks and no farmer has got no seed, no fertilizer. And a finance minister who touts and collecting insurance money, only collect 10 billion with a damage of 40 billion and say only spending 5 billion. Serious time, need a serious government.
Recruitment of foreign teachers gets a cautious thumbs up from local educators. Principals of some corporate area schools are voicing their support for the Ministry of Education and Youth's plan to recruit foreign teachers to fill vacancies in the school system for the upcoming school year. However, the school administrators say they are concerned about how quickly these educators will be able to adapt to the Jamaican classroom. The Education Ministry announced that it will be sourcing teachers from Nigeria, Ghana, the Philippines, and India as part of its efforts to fill vacancies caused by resignations and teacher migration. But while resigned that his school will take any help we can get, Principal of the St. Andrew Technical High School, Dr. Warrell Hibbert, said he is cognizant of the issues this sort of targeted recruitment may pose. The challenge is we'd have to look at exactly what it is that those teachers are taking and that they have a clear understanding of what they are coming into and finally, whatever our expectations of them are, that they are able to deliver, he told the news. Hibbert also questioned why those particular countries were chosen for recruitment. We need to probably look at a little bit more of progress of education in those countries and how they measure development, how they measure success, because the availability of teachers to come to a foreign country to teach doesn't necessarily mean that they are the best ones to come to teach, he said. He shared that his staff complement has been reduced to 92 teachers following 4 recent resignations. He is anxious that this number might increase in August, as that is typically when more teachers leave the job. Ronsel Brooks, principal of the Norman Manley High School, said he is currently processing an application for one of the Nigerian recruits to fill one of 7 vacancies at his school caused by resignations and the teachers going on leave. The principal is hopeful that this approach by the ministry will be advantageous for students. Schools will support it if it's to the benefit of the students in terms of recruiting teachers from outside our context here. The only challenge that we'll probably have, we might have a language barrier. But if they're going to come with the content to support the students' needs, then we support 100%, he said. Though still with her full complement of 54 teachers at the Denham Town High School, Principal Yvette Richards Thompson suggested the foreign recruits could be integrated into the classroom through a program of scaffolding in the initial stages. You take a teacher who is trained or a teacher who can integrate them. You put those with them so they can work with them to get experience, she said. We had a Spanish teacher and she fit in well. She came from Cuba, and for her, even though there was a cultural barrier, a language barrier, she managed to teach even children who weren't reading Spanish, and they got it. The possible value of foreign educators to the Jamaican classroom is something that a Pepin High School principal, Leighton Christie, is willing to explore. If the expertise is not available locally and we can get them from anywhere to fill the gap, I'm all for it. Just like how our teachers can leave and go overseas and fill the gap overseas, why not, he said. He noted that this would not be the first time teachers from overseas would be recruited to work in the Jamaican classroom, and believes the ministry process will be meticulous enough to get the best teachers who will be able to adapt. In the earlier days, we used to have them coming in from Guyana, from all over, especially to the traditional high schools. You used to have these persons who were there who would have done very well, so we know in terms of recruiting, we'd have to recruit the persons who can fit out the situations, he said. Meanwhile, Education Minister Favour Williams also emphasized that recruitment of teachers to work in Jamaica is not new. She noted that the recruits are being targeted for science, technology, engineering and mathematics subject areas, and sought to assure that the ministry will engage in a comprehensive orientation process to ensure that the educators are able to adjust. Traditionally, the ministry would have done some orientation with them, and remember, we have also had teachers from other cultures in our classrooms, she said. I don't think there should be any fear or concern, because we will work with the teachers who come in. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.